Hi, everybody. I'm Danamarie McNichol, a reporter from Miami, a Fox News correspondent. And today we're covering an announcement from the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. They changed their policies. Now, all driver's license exams, whether that's non-commercial or commercial, will be administered in English. They set the deadline to last Friday. So this is the first weekend and Monday that this has been in effect. And there's a lot of details surrounding this that people have had questions about, but FHP, the Florida Department of Highway Safety, they said this is starting this week, and moving forward, if you are taking a skills test or even it says a skills or a knowledge exam, both will be in English. Now, they did release a press release, and I'm going to read some of the wording for you. It says that previously knowledge exams for most non-commercial driver's license classifications were offered in multiple languages, while commercial learner's permits and commercial driver's license knowledge exams were only available in English and Spanish. So under this updated new policy, all knowledge and skills tests will be conducted in English. Also, this eliminates the option for translation, which was given to people who wanted to get their driver's license here in Florida. Now, a big question about this, many people are wondering, in a state that 1/3 of its population, according to Census Bureau data, speaks another first language at home, and then also the officials told us during a press conference, 66% of people in Miami-Dade County, where we are now, used the test in Spanish. So clearly people were using this, but why the change? So I sat down with Governor Ron DeSantis and asked him what prompted this. And first of all, this was prompted after a accident that happened over the summer in August. And this is a video, an illegal migrant from India, Harjinder Singh. He was driving on a highway. And I'm going to play that video for you, and you can see he was arrested for allegedly making that illegal U-turn right there. You probably saw us covering it very frequently on Fox News Channel. We did a lot of coverage on this back in August, and 3 people died, and he was reportedly not able to pass an English proficiency exam. And so this is what prompted the change that now people in Florida, whether you're getting a commercial driver's license or not, need to be doing it in English. So I want to respond. I want to share with you exactly what Governor Ron DeSantis said. So this is a bit of the interview. In response to this, what do you see moving forward as this is a big change?
Well, we had a fatal crash with a big rig that was California had issued commercial driver's license they were illegal, but they didn't speak English. And they made a move that violated the road signs. And so people started thinking, like, why, if someone can't understand the road signs, why would they be given a driver's license? And, people are like, well, we don't do that in Florida. Well, it turned out that, there is written that are offered, not just in Spanish, too. It's offered in Chinese, it's offered in Arabic. And the issue is like, people can speak what they want, but in Florida, our Constitution has English as our official language, and all of our road signs are in English. So just as a matter of safety, we thought it was pertinent to be able to follow the Constitution, which has commanded that, but also ensure motorist safety.
So this is directly linked to that accident that happened in August.
That's right.
Okay. Florida is a state where almost 30%. So he did confirm, yes. So this was a direct relationship to this crash that happened. Then I did ask him, okay, 1/3 of the state speaks English at home. How is this going to affect drivers? And I think playing that also for you, and his response is interesting. So we'll do that. Speak another language at home. How do you think this is going to impact those drivers?
Well, I can tell you, when you think about 15, 16-year-olds that take their driver's test, I would imagine that, 99+% are going to be able to do it in English. Some of them may also be able to do it in another language, but our school system is equipped to make sure that you're prepared to be in English. And so I'm very, very confident of that. And so the people that are, the 15, 16 are looking to get that first license, I don't think that you're going to see much of a difference. I think that you may see a difference in preference. Maybe someone did prefer to do a different language, but clearly they're given the tools to know English in our school system.
And do you expect any legal pushback from this decision?
Every time I get out of bed, we get sued on something. I mean, that happens, and so obviously I'm sure there will.
So there hasn't been any legal pushback that we've seen so far, but as the governor mentioned, he is expecting that as well. Now, looking at local reports of what people are saying, a lot of them at the DMVs, we know that many rushed to get to the DMV when this announcement was made. It was made about a week before the deadline, so the deadline was February 6th. So people either made appointments or tried to get to the DMV to do that before the February 6th deadline. That was on Friday. We did hear from officials that they are doing a 60-day grace period. These are for people only taking the test in Spanish. As you heard Governor Ron DeSantis mention that this was offered in many different languages, but the grace period is only offered to those in Spanish. And then they're also only offered to drivers who made a specific appointment before that February 6th deadline. So there's a little bit of a stipulation in terms of who can take it, but that's the latest that we're hearing people at the DMV say. Some people say, you know, this is going to be really tough for people that English isn't their first language and they're still learning and they didn't really have enough time to be able to study for it. While others at the DMV said, if the roads are in English, the drivers need to also understand them and be able to drive safely with the understanding of that language. So I think there's a debate on both sides of this topic. Regardless, the announcement was made and this change is being held out at DMVs all over the state of Florida. The Miami-Dade tax collector, they're the ones that are tax collectors throughout the state, but the Miami-Dade tax collector, he spoke to press on Friday when this all launched, and he said that they are pushing forward with these rules. They're working with the state to make sure that they're in compliance, and they've also recognized that there is a lot of Spanish speakers here in this area, and so they are trying to accommodate that with that 60-day grace period. So, you know, I think this came as a shock to many, but also if you've been following what happened in Florida, especially over the summer with the commercial driver's license and somewhat of a controversy around that, you probably aren't too surprised that Florida made a decision to switch to English only. Now, there are a couple of other states that are also in the same boat, that they only allow these tests to be given in English. That's Oklahoma, Wyoming, and South Dakota. So now Florida is the fourth state to join this rule. I know we have some moderators back at Fox that if there's any questions that I can answer, they can text me those. Okay, is Florida the first state to implement this exam? We're going to see this English only pop up in other states. So yes, so I just answered that. So we have, but only 4. So, you know, that's not a lot of states. We could maybe see other states follow suit. I know Florida is somebody who really paves the way for certain policies, and they do a good job at wanting to have other states, you know, follow suit. Governor Ron DeSantis actually mentioned that to me in my interview when we were speaking, that other states he hopes will follow, but of course that's up to them. I think we're getting another question. Has any liberal politician spoken out against this policy? I think what we've seen online is that there are immigration advocate groups saying that this is not necessarily fair because of how many people in the state of Florida speak Spanish. Like I said, 30% of the population speak another language at home. And so they have absolutely been very vocal about the negative response to this policy change. And I could play this video for you guys again. I mean, this is the crash that happened in August that prompted this change. So 3 people were driving. He did an illegal U-turn on a highway in Fort Pierce, Florida, and it caused the car to go under that massive truck, and he had a commercial driver's license from California. He was actually extradited from California here, and he was arrested, so he's now in jail. We've seen him in court a couple of times, but we're still waiting for that trial to be updated. So that video it's really hard to watch because you can see that over and over again. But that's the latest. We are going to continue to follow this and see how the response plays out here in Florida. But this is the first Monday, the first full week of only allowing exams in English in the state of Florida. Let me see if there's anything else. I could read you a response from the Florida Highway Safety Motor Vehicles. They say they remain committed to ensuring safe roadways for all Floridians and visitors by promoting clear communication, understanding of traffic laws, and responsible driving behavior. It says language translation services will no longer be permitted for knowledge or skills examinations, and any printed exams in language other than English will be removed for use. So that's essentially the gist of what we're covering today. We're also going to be live on Fox News Channel around 2:45. If you'd like to catch that live on air with all of the elements put together, obviously we're just chatting with you casually here. This is our Miami Bureau where we gather all of our information and we base all of our news gathering out of, but I'll be live on Fox News a little bit later this afternoon. If you don't have any further questions, which I don't know if you have, we will say goodbye and thank you so much for tuning in. And if there's any other stories in Florida that you find interesting, reach out to us because we're always looking to cover all of the voices here in Florida.